Hi, this is One God Ministries, and today we're going to talk about gambling, which is a big sin. The word gamble was never mentioned in the Bible, but its sinfulness can be known if it violates principles in the scriptures, and this, which this, and also if the scriptures describes its characteristic as sinful. Okay, so in the same way that taking addictive drugs such as cocaine or meth is not mentioned in the Bible, reading or watching pornography, engaging in unusual activities, and other modern activities such as overusing the cell phone and other sins mentioned in the scriptures, their sinfulness is rather based on biblical principles. Now, why do people gamble? People gamble to win money. People gamble to entertain themselves and others. It is a social event. Money becomes a source of joy, an idol. Now, this joy or dopamine release of gambling is never experienced if gamblers were not using money. If it was just a game in which money was not involved, there would be no joy or excitement or dopamine release. In 1 John 2, verse 15, it is stated, "Do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For everything in the world, the cravings of sinful man, the lust of the eyes, and the boasting of what he has and does, comes not from the Father, but from the world." So, the Apostle John was talking in here about the world system, that it is contrary to the principles of God. Entertainment in the world is based on the cravings of sinful man, the lust of his eyes, and the boasting of what he has and does. Notice gambling is based on these principles. In Luke 13, and Jesus Christ said, "No servant can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money or mammon, which is money deified, meaning it becomes a god." In 1 Timothy 6 verse 7, the Apostle Paul states, "For we brought nothing into this world, and certain we cannot carry anything out. And having food and clothing, with this we shall be content. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation and a snare, into many foolish and harmful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition." Now, Christians were advised to simply practice self-control, but those who fall into the love of money actually fall into behaviors which lead to destruction and perdition or being lost. He continues, "For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil, for which some have strayed from the faith in their greediness and pierced themselves through with many sorrows." So people who love money actually are lonely people. They pierce themselves with many sorrows or sins. In Ecclesiastes 5 verse 10, it is stated, "Whoever loves money never has money enough, Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with his income. So whoever loves money will never have satisfaction or self-control. But he continues on accumulating wealth and never satisfied. In James 4, verse 4, it is stated, "Adulterers and adulteresses, do you not know that friendship with the world is enmity with God? Whoever wants to be a friend of this world makes himself an enemy of God." Okay, so gambling is friendship with the world and makes one an enemy actually of God. In Habakkuk 2:6, the Lord states, "Woe to him who increases that which is not his." Okay, so let's look at another point. Gambling opens a person to demonic oppression or possession. It is a portal for demonic spirits. In Matthew 12, verse 43, it stated, "When an evil spirit comes out of a man, it goes through arid places seeking rest and does not find it. Then it says, I will return to the house I left. When it arrives, it finds the house unoccupied, swept clean, and put in order. Then it goes in and takes with it 7 other spirits, more wicked than itself, and they go in and live there. And the final condition of the man is worse than the first." So, you know, gamblers usually are demonically possessed and oppressed. They practice other sins, which shows that there are other spirits inside of them. I noticed that gambling leads not only to lack of self-control and contentment. In fact, it never leads to contentment. It leads to discontent. And I noticed that gamblers usually use up all their money and the money they should have spent, to run their families and for basic goods, up to the point that they lose everything, practically everything, all their savings, and a lot of their possessions, as if they cannot control it because they are addicted to gambling. So gambling is actually an addiction, a demonic possession. So gambling opens a person to lack of self-control. It leads to other sins as theft, sexual immorality, murder, family breakdown, etc. It is common knowledge that almost all criminal sinners practice gambling. In the gambling den, you will find a lot of sinners. You can find thieves. You can find prostitutes. Uh, you can find corrupt politicians, and some of the most famous corrupt politicians are common people who frequent gambling dens. Gambling is covetousness, desiring good of others. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, his manservant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. A greedy or covetous man stirs up dissension, says Proverbs 28:25. But he who trusts in the Lord will prosper. So gambling never promotes a trusting in the Lord, but stirs up greediness or covetousness in a person. Gambling is a worship of a false god Fortuna. In Isaiah 65:11-12, the Lord states, "But as for you who forsake the Lord and forget my holy mountain, to spread a table for Fortuna, god of fortune or luck, and fill bowls of mixed wine for destiny. I will destine you for the sword, and you will all bend down for the slaughter. For I called, but you did not answer. I spoke, but you did not listen. You did evil in my sight and chose what displeases me. Evil, gambling is evil. It worships other gods such as fortune and destiny. Money was originally a tool created by God for commerce, a payment for goods and services. Gambling is a tool created by the devil to promote a worship of the god Mammon and Fortuna. It promotes greediness and friendship with the world system. It promotes enmity against God, and it promotes demonic possession or oppression. So, in conclusion, I hope you have realized how evil gambling really is. Gambling is a violation of numerous Bible principles and moral code. It is immoral. Any denomination or church leader who insists it is harmless is leading his congregation astray. He is a blind guide. And in Luke 6, Jesus Christ said, "Can the blind man lead the blind? Will they not both fall into the ditch?" So, anyone who thinks gambling is harmless and guiding other people is actually a blind guide. So, this is one God Ministries, and I hope you have learned something uh, deep and misunderstood by a lot of people. So if you want to watch my other videos, you can go to my YouTube channel, One God Ministries, and you can even chat with me in jim.eagle at my email address. So until next time, this is One God Ministries.